Now at noon, a new report on the destructive January wildfires finds a series of weaknesses may have delayed L.A. County's response. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. The findings are part of the after-action report on those wildfires.
And the review evaluated the county's efforts to warn and evacuate residents as the Eden and Palisades fires broke out. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live now in downtown L.A. with details on the findings. Corrine?
Glenn, that was really the focus of this report, to evaluate the county's response to those evacuation orders and alerts. Board of Supervisors say this was all about ensuring transparency for the public.
When I read the report, there is no one thing that can be pointed to that completely failed. It was a systemic failure across the board. But having said that, there was a lot taken into consideration regarding how the fire was going, the fact that the winds were blowing a certain way, the calls coming in 911. No question about it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime firestorm, but there are lessons learned.
Now, this after-action analysis was completed by McChrystal Group. It offers a detailed look at the actions taken during those devastating wildfires and gives guidelines on how the county can respond to future catastrophes. This is the first after-action assessment by the county and state, and the review did not, as you heard with Supervisor Barger, did not identify a, quote, single point of failure in the county's actions to alert and evacuate residents, given all the fires that were burning at the same time across the region. The Board of Supervisors requested this review, which did pinpoint a series of weaknesses, including outdated policies, inconsistent practices, and communications vulnerabilities. As for possible improvements going forward,
like actually beefing up our emergency operations center. We live in a time now where we've got fires year-round, but we're also going to have floods, mudslides, we've got earthquakes. A county of this size should have an emergency operation system in place. And things like this once-in-a-lifetime firestorm, we should be prepared constantly for anything that's going to come down the road. And so there's lessons learned. I know there's going to be people disappointed. I know it was pointed out that we didn't focus on the lives lost, but this report was more about finding out about the alert system.
and there are so many more improvements that the county plans on making, implementing, moving forward. Catherine Barger is saying that even though that they consider the wildfires in January a once-in-a-lifetime catastrophic event, they want to be prepared in case anything comes down the line, flooding, fires, you name it. And so we'll be hearing more from supervisors at a news conference set for 2 o'clock here in downtown Los Angeles. We'll have much more then. For now, reporting live in downtown LA, Corrine Winter, KTLA 5 News.
All right, thank you, Corrine. The city of Stanton is considering having unarmed guards patrolling its parks in an effort to curb increasing vandalism and crime.
Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost live in Stanton with some details for us. Hi, Chip.
Yeah, hello there, guys. Yeah, we're here at Stanton Park, and this is one of the parks where you could sometime in the near future see unarmed private security guards monitoring the park. Let's show you some more video from this park here, and you'll see one of the reasons why this proposal came up in the first place. You see the bathrooms here at the park are boarded up. That is because the mayor says that vandals and transients, he believes, got in there and trashed the bathrooms. They're working on getting them fixed up so they can reopen them. But he says that's just one example of many problems at parks around the city. And one of the reasons he brought this proposal up, he believes private security guards monitoring the parks can not only help the parks, but also free up deputies to concentrate on more serious crimes. He says he got the idea from a similar proposal in Garden Grove.
So we figured that it would be in our best interest also to do the same thing. Our sheriff's department is working on a lot of our major crimes, so we want to make sure that we're able to assist them in what they're doing to help them with maybe some of the low priority calls.
However, not everyone is on board with the idea. Another council member we spoke to is against the idea and points out that the city recently hired 6 new sheriff's deputies. The sheriff's department provides policing services for the city of Stanton. He says that those new sheriff's deputies should be able to address these kinds of problems. He also says he has concerns since those private security guards wouldn't have the same powers or authority that sheriff's deputies do.
That is a huge concern because they can only do certain things, report basically. They can call the sheriff's department. They can flash their lights if they're in a car or something. They really can't enforce anything. They can make a presence felt, I guess. But if people know their private security, the elements that the mayor is trying to get out of the city, so to speak, it's just not going to work.
Now, recently, the majority of City Council voted to give city staff the authority to go out and get bids on private security guards who would monitor the parks. However, the mayor says once they get those bids or once they start that process, he'll decide sometime after whether or not to go through and actually try to move and get the city to hire a private security guard. He says he does acknowledge that those new deputies did start. He wants to see how that works out, that maybe they can address it. He says it's kind of a wait and see approach. If they do a decent job, he thinks, of addressing the issue, then they might hold off on hiring any private security guards. But like I said, he thinks this would actually help the sheriff's deputies. City council member you heard doesn't agree. We'll see how it plays out. For now, reporting here in Stanton, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
Chip, thank you for that. Well, this morning, community leaders announced a 90-day plan to revitalize downtown Los Angeles. It includes improvements in safety and cleanliness, as well as economic and cultural vitality to the area.
Downtown is hemorrhaging value, and with it, opportunity. Years of compounding crises, the pandemic, immigration raids, tariffs, curfews, ongoing homelessness. These have hit downtown Los Angeles harder than anywhere else. If we don't act now, we risk losing not just our city's core, but the hundreds of millions of dollars it generates for the rest of the city of Los Angeles.
And just yesterday, Mayor Karen Bass gave final approval to the LA Convention Center expansion project, which aims to bring more jobs and business to the area ahead of the 2028 Olympic Games. A Van Nuys car wash owner has filed a $50 million legal claim over injuries he says that he suffered during a recent immigration raid.
Yeah, federal agents say that the 79-year-old was impeding their operation, and that now he is speaking out alongside his attorneys. KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is live in Marina Del Rey with details on the legal action. Kimberly.
Hi, they're just wrapping up a news conference here at the attorney's office. Attorneys called the federal agents reckless and cruel, say they didn't speak or give warning, but resorted to force right away. The car wash owner spoke out earlier this morning. Take a listen.
That particular day that I was treated with these people, which they call themselves ICE people, which I don't believe they are ICE people. I don't know where they came from. And the way they treated me, the way they attacked me, the way I was begging them. I have a heart condition. 3 big people were sitting on my back, the way they tore me down, sitting on me, and I asked them to let me go, which they absolutely would not pay no attention.
Take a look at video released by his attorneys. This was September 9th. Agents were conducting an immigration enforcement operation at Valley Car Wash in Van Nuys. The owner, who you just heard, Rafi Shoehead, was inside when he says masked agents stormed the business and he ran out to see what was happening. The video showed him running down a hallway when he encounters an agent who immediately shoved him to the ground. Attorneys say he stepped outside to explain that his employees were authorized to work, but agents violently body slammed him onto the pavement and pinned him down with a knee to his head and neck. back, according to attorneys. Shoehead says he recently had heart surgery and pleaded for an ambulance because he was struggling to breathe. He claims that agents ignored him and took him to a detention center where he was held for 12 hours without medical attention. Attorneys say he was later released without charges, and his family took him to a hospital, and according to attorneys, he suffered a brain injury, broken ribs, and injuries to his elbows.
How many more people have seriously injured or died? These ICE officers are coming into our community and using brutal force first and asking questions later.
Shoehead, a U.S. citizen, has filed a civil rights claim against the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection, and ICE. He's seeking $50 million in damages alleging assault and battery and deliberate indifference to a serious medical condition. Now, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that the targeted operation resulted in the arrest of 5 people. Also said that the owner of Valley Car Wash impeded the operation and was arrested for assaulting and impeding a federal officer. Now, back here live, attorneys did confirm that 5 of Shoehead's employees were detained, but they didn't have an update on the status of those cases. They say that Shoehead is still suffering from physical and psychological effects of what happened that day. Reporting live in Marina Del Rey, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
Thank you, Kimberly.